How can I move past being burnt out when working long hours? I'm in my 30s, married with a couple of kids. I have been working at a company for the past 3 years. Last year our company bought a competitor that was having financial issues, and laid off most of the developers, 5, but kept one who resigned shortly after. For the past year, I've been working doing multiple jobs trying to fill in the gaps. Since January, I have been working 7 days a week averaging about 70 to 80 hours per week, and this is starting to affect my work as I am now making obvious mistakes. I've heard of burnout before but didn't realize it was an actual thing. I have never gone through this before. I don't know how to get out of this rut. My family has been very supportive and I feel so bad putting them through this. I'm no longer any fun to be around and I feel like I'm shortchanging them. It's a small company, of good people, who would suffer greatly if I left. Financially, their hands are tied, and if they could hire additional programmers to help, they would. It is very likely in a month or two we will be in a much better financial situation. On top of the work issues, there have been numerous family health issues including death and illness in the family, and a miscarriage. I haven't had personal time over the past couple of years, I have had taken sick days and grief days, etc. For the past few weeks I've been getting headaches that are getting progressively worse and worse. Has anyone ever been through this? How can I keep going? I really don't want to leave as I feel like I would be jeopardizing the company and the livelihood of all the people in it. Edit. There has been some question as to what the actual question is. I was hoping to see if anyone who has experienced this ever found a way to just power through it. I would ideally love to find a way to finish 1 or 2 last projects before taking time off, but more and more I'm seeing, and proven even more so from these answers, that it's not likely to happen in the current situation. I want to thank you all individually for taking the time to answer. Update. I have been working from home the past few weeks. Instead of getting requests from a number of people, they're being filtered through to me by one person at a time. It helps, but the level of anxiety and stress along with the headaches I feel aren't subsiding. I've seen a couple of doctors now and they say it's occupational burnout, and they emphasize that this will only get worse until I take complete time off. I truly appreciate all the feedback from everyone and will update when I can. Update. I finally couldn't go on and took medical leave, mainly working from home with less duties. Was laid off. In the end, nothing was worth it, to be honest.
That question is a hard read. I've been through similar experiences to you, although in different circumstances. The answer to your question, how can I keep going? Don't, or at least, not in the current circumstances. It's clear you've pushed yourself as far as you can go. It sounds like there's nothing else that you specifically can give that may improve the situation. You need to force a change somehow. The way I see it is you have 2 options. Quit. You currently have absolutely no work-life balance, and it's clear that the stress of work is starting to significantly affect your health. No job is worth this, no matter how much you feel sorry for your employer, no job is worth getting ill over. Especially when you have a family and an ill father to consider. Given the simple thought of work makes you feel ill, a position I have also been in, this is the obvious choice, and the one that should bring you the biggest improvement. Obviously though, quitting a job should never be taken lightly, and I'd recommend trying to have another role in place as soon as possible. Or, force a change at work. You might feel quitting is not an option given your relationship with your employer, and the empathy you feel for their situation. This is admirable, but if you're going to remain in your job you need to have a frank and thorough discussion with your boss. You must be honest with them, and explain that you're overworked and on the brink of burning out completely. If you're as key a figure as it seems, your employer should be smart enough to work with addressing these issues with you and relieving some of the pressure. The last thing they'll want is for you to leave, so you hold the cards in this respect. The biggest thing to realize is that as important as you think the clients are, and as pressing as you think their problems are, nothing is worth sacrificing your health for. Especially not in our line of work. The world doesn't stop turning if you leave. Your primary concern is your own well-being and that of your family, everything else comes second. Edit. I just wanted to pick up on a suggestion from Julia in the comments. If you need more time away from work to get your head straight, then take it. I'm not sure what country you're in, but any doctor should be able to sign you off for a week or 2 given the amount of stress you're under. Please don't think that taking time out, or simply saying you can't do this anymore, is a sign of weakness. It's not. It's a miracle you've gotten this far under your circumstances. Many people would have thrown in the towel months ago.
I have been through this, and at the time I still thought I was 12 feet tall and bulletproof. I didn't listen to the signs and ended up destroying my health, my career, and my family. I hope I have your attention at this point because your situation is almost exactly the same as mine was, right down to the miscarriage. Here's what you need to do. Take a step back. If you have any sick or vacation time, start using it now. Even if you need to put in for short-term disability, do it now. Reconnect with your family. All of this stress must be putting a strain on your relationships. Even if your friends and family seem understanding now, they're going to burn out when it comes to dealing with you in this state. Again, this happened to me. It is important that you start doing these two things first because you are of no use to anyone if you get to the point where you can no longer function. Your family and friends will support you if you step back for your own health. If you don't, then they are going to become like the family and friends of addicts. They are going to start thinking, I can't save him from himself, and one by one, they are going to walk away from you. Realize that this is a job, not your life. Your life is your dad, your wife, and the rest of your family and friends. You can always get another job, but trying to replace loved ones you lose due to some misguided sense of honor is an impossibility. While the general wisdom is that you never quit unless you have another job lined up, you may already be too burned out to be able to get another job. Again, I was in your shoes. I would get severe panic attacks anytime I tried to code, even on my own projects. Consider quitting, recovering, and then finding a new job. Network with friends and family to see if they can help find a new position for you. Understand that while your co-workers may be good people, they will not be there to pick up the pieces when you finally crack up. If the company goes under, they will find other jobs. Do not throw yourself under a bus for them. Take time for renewal. If you are a religious person, reconnect with your religious organization, be it a church, temple, mosque, etc. If not, consider meditation or other relaxation techniques. Seek professional help, get a diagnosis on what is going on, and follow the doctor's advice. I am no doctor or psychiatrist, but I see the warning signs in you that I ignored in myself. Get help now. Most of all, understand that you are not 12 feet tall and bulletproof. You are already pushing yourself past your own limits and will likely suffer severe damage to your health and relationships if you continue. Here's what ultimately happened to me. Stroke. Wife had a miscarriage over all the stress. Nervous breakdown. Developed severe panic disorder. Heart attack. High blood pressure. Diabetes went from diet controlled to raging out of control. Lost all but one of my friends. Out of work for 5 years. Divorce. Please, take care of yourself, don't make the same mistakes I did.
Tell work everything. Tell them exactly what you have said here. If they try to diminish what you are saying, it's just a bad day, then make it clear again, and what will happen if they don't take you seriously. It's not the way any of us are accustomed in dealing with our superiors, but here it is best for you and it is best for your employer. Leave it to them to make accommodations for you, it is their business, literally. There will almost certainly be way more options than you can think of in this situation, because they have more information than you do about the business. Believe it or not, you are in an incredibly strong negotiating position here. You know what they say about picking a fight with someone who has nothing to lose. It is also a simple negotiating position. Simple doesn't always go together with strong, but here it does. You know exactly what the other party might do. They accommodate your burnout or do not, and what your response will be in each case, both of the likely outcomes being an improvement over the present situation for you. You need to find out if they are reasonable people, most are, and, if so, if they are creative and imaginative enough to work for a solution to your problems, most are not. If they are both of these things, then there's a good chance that you can continue. If they fail on either count, evil, or nice but inadequate, then you need to get out. All you need to do in turn is to come across as sincere. Don't accept things like just offers of pay or status, but with everything else staying the same. They are not what you need now, and it won't make you seem sincere if you seem enticed by them. You want time and space to recover. Give them the opportunity to offer you some control and flexibility. Refuse anything that has the whiff of limping along. If they offer this to you, when you return, your reputation will have improved as a sincere, strong, dedicated and dutiful employee. If they don't offer you anything meaningful, then you will benefit from being certain that you made the right choice when you left the company. Don't underestimate the lack of communication in a business environment. It is astoundingly common that managers just don't notice these things. It can be very hard to judge, from a managerial position, the difference between waving and drowning. Good luck.
Financially, their hands are tied, and if they could hire additional programmers to help, they would. It is very likely in a month or two we will be in a much better financial situation, but I just can't push myself to keep going. No. Just no. Even small companies are not tied up that way. If it is very probable that the company is better off in 1 or 2 months, where is the problem of hiring additional programmers now? It's only 2 months, right? Hiring a programmer for additional 2 months is roughly the price of a new compact car, so something even an individual person like me could pay, much less a company. If they don't do this, it is very likely that in a month or two nothing will have changed. They just suffer from ridiculously bad management, letting the situation go on for 7 months or even more and not replacing the developers. Didn't they try to take back the old ones? And they obviously placed all the weight on you and didn't care about it anymore. I have seen such situations once or twice in my life. They never went well. If a company is run with this amount of disregard concerning the health and well-being of the employees, and still being on the verge of bankruptcy, it is only a matter of time until everything breaks down. Just don't make the mistake of the gambler, who thinks that surely, after the next game everything will come out better. That might be, but chances are great that everything just gets worse. And this is such a case. If your job is of such great importance that the existence of the company depends on it, they really should have gotten some more programmers months ago. Any reasonable management would have done this even in tight financial situations. If they rather chose to exploit their employees until they burn out, they deserve the shutdown.
There is a very plain and simple fact here: you can't go on like this. That's a fact. There's no need to discuss it. Any answer that I could give you or that you could give yourself that ignores this fact is pointless. So that's the starting point. There is the alternative that you kill yourself by going on in your job like you do now. I won't consider that. So the first thing that you do is taking a few days holiday to recover and then switching to a 40-hour week. What does your employer think about it? Doesn't matter. If they don't like it, they can fire you, but that isn't going to get the work done, is it? And you may have realized that yourself, but you get more work done in 40 hours than in 60 hours. And then you have two possibilities: you either look for a new job and leave as soon as you have found one. Or you give your employer a chance to fix the situation by hiring competent people who can do the work, and hiring them very quickly. So what about your company and your clients? You solve your problems. The company can solve its problems, and the clients solve their problems. You are responsible for yourself. What's the worst that can happen? The company may go under. I just imagine the world's saddest song played on the world's tiniest violin. If they go under because you are leaving, they frankly deserve it. On the other hand, you may get seriously ill, your wife divorces you, you won't see your kids again, you lose your home and end up in the street if you go on like this. Well, that's a choice. Choose yourself and your family. P.S. After reading your update, unfortunately I'm not surprised. You wanted to be loyal to the company, but the company gave a **** for you. Still, better for you in the end. Clever men learn from their mistakes. Wise men learn from other people's mistakes. I hope your post will help someone make the right decisions.
This is probably going to sound harsh, but here it is. Regarding your family, I feel like I'm shortchanging them. You are. There is no nice way to sugarcoat this. You have overextended yourself at work, and your family is most definitely losing out because of it. You are so burned out that you are barely able to keep yourself together, and in this case you can't offer your family the time and emotional connection they, and you, deserve. It is wonderful that your family has been so supportive thus far, but do beware that it is very difficult for your family to endure your functional absence, and that dynamic can have lasting consequences. Regarding your reason for not quitting, it's because it's a small company, of good people, who would suffer greatly if I left. The potential suffering of the company is not your responsibility. It's just not. The owners and management are responsible for ensuring they have the manpower in place to deliver their product, and they have 100% failed in this regard. You simply cannot do the job of 6 people. The fact that your company put you in this position is horrendous, but that you feel responsible for carrying their bad decisions to this extent is simply baffling. Indeed, they may be good people who might suffer if you leave, but you are presumably a good person too, and you are suffering, along with your family and other loved ones, because of the crushing weight your employer has placed upon you. I don't think you can stay with this company, even if you negotiate a long break to recover from your current state, as they have shown they lack basic sense or concern when it comes to your workload and health, and possibly their other employees as well, and it's very likely you would end up in the same dynamic all over again after you return. I think the best solution is to quit this job ASAP, take an extended leave for yourself, and when you are truly able to return to work, find a new employer.
If you love the job, the people, and it has a great future ahead of you, you can do this to mitigate your stress. Hard limits. Hard limits on hours spent. You set yourself a limit. You say, I will only work 36 hours. When my day ends, it ends. No matter if the server room burns down, clients can't pay, or the damn thing isn't finished yet. Keep yourself to that hard limit. Communicate to your boss that this is a hard limit you're posing to keep your sanity until he can hire help to sort this mess out to relieve the workload. Prioritize. Sysadmin, server admin, etc. All the new roles that are not your key competence, let them be at the very bottom of your priority list. Just say to your boss, I don't have a clue how to set that up. I can Google it, spend 8 hours figuring it out, in the meantime I'll break a lot of stuff experimenting, and I can't guarantee it'll work good and stable because I don't know enough of that field of expertise. While I'm doing that I can't fix the broken website, clients won't be able to pay, etc. Suggest to your boss he can do the exact same thing you're doing, then Google it and experiment. Block work email. Don't install work email on private phone. Leave the work phone at work. Communicate to your boss you will not be available during private time. Find a project. Find a private project for your private that brings you enjoyment. Be it a coding project like a Minecraft modification, a personal website, an Android game, etc. Or a manual project, renovating the house, replanting the garden, restoring a car, painting Warhammer figures, just something for fun, something to look forward to when you get home. Walk. Walk at least 1 hour per day. No phone, no music, no companionship. Be alone, walk in nature where you can see trees. Trees and green relieve stress. Sleep. Get enough sleep. Go to bed on time, don't use your mobile or computer at least 2 hours before going to bed or in bed. Read stuff, or do your walk before going to bed.